Holy fuck, this stop motion slaps. Spectro Studios, you are a god amongst men. I love your reconstruction of the scene way more than what happened in the actual goddamn movie. Can you just make the whole movie? His stop motion inspired me to create an ROTB Prime. While I'm lukewarm on the actual movie and not a fan of Prime's design in it, I had so much goddamn fun modifying my existing SS38 from being accurate to the concept art to being accurate to the Bumblebee movie. Prime toys in general are the most fun to customize because you always get a clear look at every angle of him. And I do mean every angle. So you aren't always guessing details or relying on outdated art to base your customs off on. I guess that's why I'm doing an ROTB Prime for my second custom. And I need a shit ton of white paint, so you're gonna have to wait for the next non-Prime one. I really don't feel like dropping more money at Hasbro's feet for all the chicanery they've pulled with the price hikes, dumbass packaging, and lackluster quality in the past few years, so I'm gonna buy a knockoff SS38 instead. Apparently, it's just as good as the original, but we'll have a mini review in this video. So, before making any changes, what's my game plan with ROTB Prime? Well, let's start with the kibble fix. Like I said, I'm going to do a proper video walkthrough on doing it in my Bumblebee video, so enjoy that I suppose. The original creator of the mod, Sidetribe154, now has written instructions up on the TFW 2005 Radicons forums, so if you prefer that, you can go check that out. And then we're going to give him the most infamous design change from the Bumblebee movie, his fucking horse mouth. Why, oh why do these movies keep placing his mouth where a fucking horse would have his? No, Steven, Peter Cullen is not an ass. To pull this off, I'm going to use a Junker Evasion Mode Prime's head, cut the bottom off, and transplant it onto SS38's existing head. Next, because Prime's head is much thinner in this movie, we're going to be shaving his side discs off. We don't need to extend the antennas anymore, because in this movie he has much shorter ones than what he had before. Next, for the chest, we're going to be adding his silver eyebrows using old plastic cards. That's the easy part. Now the hard part is recreating that grill between these titty windows where a turbine used to exist. The head assembly still has to rotate, so we're going to be careful in how we attach it. For the shoulders, we're going to do the reverse of what we did last time, where the wings go forward instead of backward, and then they're going to be silver this time. Furthermore, we're going to remove the upper portion of the shoulder block because they omitted that in the movie for some reason. And we'll transfer it to where they go in vehicle mode to preserve transformation. And now, the lower body. We're going to have to give him thicker thighs, but instead of inward bulk, we're going to have to create outward bulk. And finally, we need to give him new feet, and I think I'm just going to use the same trick I did for my Bumblebee movie version. For truck mode, it should be pretty straightforward. For the bull bar, we're going to be using old Gunpla runners. They're the perfect cylindrical shape, and thank you so much to NPs for the inspiration. His ROTB Prime is just amazing, so you guys need to take a look at it. This idea is just simply genius. We also need to add the silver side thingies to the side of the truck. And then finally, we're going to give him a more movie accurate deco. So, with a game plan in mind, as Mario would say, let's go. Before we start properly, consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that like button. It lets me know what you guys want and continue producing more of it. Before beginning any modifications, let's do a small review of my knockoff SS38. I didn't want to pay triple the price for a regular one, and oh shit, yeah, I probably should have, because that ear is fucked up. That's some seriously bad QC on their part. I won't lie, the joints feel kind of crummy. They're really kind of loose, as you can see, like the arm kind of flops around. I'm still kind of upset about that fucked up horn, but I might break that off and re-glue it on later. If it really just like, if I just can't take it anymore. The head is really loose, the arms are really loose. I'm not sure whether I would recommend this KO. And there's no leg tap for some reason, so you can't actually tap the legs together, so that's probably the worst thing about this knockoff. Thing I absolutely hate. The transformation is actually relatively painless, except like most knockoffs, there are a bunch of extraneous nub marks that you need to shave off yourself. So that makes the transformation a bit more difficult, but I think once you do it, when you do it once, it becomes easier to transform it as the joints start to break in and the plastic starts to, you know, shave down by itself. So yeah, the transformation at least works, which is, I guess, enough for this custom. So I guess that's the good news. yay, it's a truck, so great. Now let's start on the actual mods. So as you can see, I already took one of the front pieces out. They're just friction clipped in, so you just need to yank it out. For some reason on this knockoff, it's much harder to take off. It's because actually it's made of much tougher plastic than the Hasbro version, so if you have the Hasbro version, it'll be much easier. And just by taking it off, I got stress marks. I don't know why, this didn't happen on my other one. So yeah, that's what you get for buying a knockoff, I guess. But the point is, we were able to take these pieces off. Now we just need to knock the pins out. So just get a screwdriver of the appropriate size and place it on something on an elevator height. I have a DNA upgrade DK27 pin remover thing. So that's what I use to prop up the piece and knock the pin out. As you can see, it's relatively easy. Now we just need to make a faint cut on where we want to fully cut it. So hopefully you know where you're cutting. So there's a gap, and you want to start where the gap just starts, and you want it to be the furthest away from the little ladders on my left side. So yeah, and then after you make the little incision, you can cut it fully, and this is what the pieces should look like. Keep track of all the pieces and know where each piece goes where. So great. And now we can start to complete the mod. Now on this little piece, as you can see, there's a little piece of wheel well attached to it. You just need to clip that off, and just make sure you know what a wheel well is, and then you can clip extraneous plastic off. Just make sure that you keep that wheel well detail. That's super important. Otherwise, you'll have a fucked up truck mode. But yeah, and then once you do that, you can just cut all that fat off. You can trim the fat, and yeah, Prime will look definitely more heroic that way. And once you get all that off, you can actually start gluing. Just make sure you know where each piece goes where. Make sure you keep track of all of it. So the silver piece, yeah, we're just gonna glue it right there. Hopefully you can see. It should actually be pretty straightforward if you know what the truck looks like, which I hope you do, because if you've never seen a truck in your life, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just gluing, putting plenty of super glue down because it's going to be permanent. Well, it's super glue, so yeah, but just make sure it's attached to there securely. And yeah. Once you attach it, make sure that your wrists are able to swivel. So mine was able to, so I guess the mod worked out in my favor. Below that silver piece, we need to attach the leftmost wheel well piece, the part which you cut off from the flank panel. And after we do that, you can actually attach the little tiny wheel well piece to the right of that piece. And as you can see from the video, you're just going to glue it on so it forms 2/3 of a wheel well. And yeah, it should look something like that. I hope this is all kind of making sense to you. This is what you should what it should end up looking like. So yeah, if you've done that, great job. So we should have 4 pieces left, 2 for each side, 1 silver, 2 silvers, 2 reds. Put 1 silver and put 1 red together. Insert a pin and snap the rest of the pin with one of your bad nippers, because it's going to ruin your nippers. And put a bit of super glue into the hole on this back. And there's going to be a tab at the end of the red piece, which we're going to insert in. And it should stay all together. Make sure you don't glue the silver piece to the back, because you want it to move. As you can see, my silver piece is kind of loose, but that's actually good. We want it to be loose, because actually in robot mode, it's actually going to kind of lock in by that little hump on the lower back. It's going to kind of snap into place, so we don't worry about loose pieces. So if you've done all that right, we should have a really nice slim SS38. So yeah, that's how you kind of do the mod. It should look something like this. If you've done all of this correctly, then great job. You've given Prime the physique he's always wanted. You completed his fat removal surgery. Hip hip hooray. Make sure the transformation works. You only need to transform the upper part of the body because that's where most of the work has been done. The order of operations are going to be slightly different, but you should be able to figure it all out. Silver pieces should be able to tuck in comfortably. It should stay there.
And yeah, the truck, the front part of the truck is all nice, tidy, and clean. Yeah. So if you were able to transform it, well done. You created a transformable, slim SS38.
So, yeah, that's the mod's done for the dekibling. He has a mean and lean physique now. Yeah, you seriously lost some weight, Brian. Anyway, yeah, mine still came fucked. I mean, look at this. What is this? Like, what is that? That's some, like, serious shoddy quality control. But that's kind of what you get for knockoffs. So the first mod, probably the easiest mod I want to do, that doesn't really require that much work, I don't think, is removing these shoulder pauldrons. So if you look at the ROTB model, the shoulders seem lower because these pieces are missing for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I guess creative, I don't know, that's good. I guess that's how they sell new toys, I suppose. But even the new Studio series is still deciding to keep those. I guess because of the concept art. So I guess, yeah. The easiest way to, I think we just need to remove these screws. We can come out of your hidey hole, little hobbit. This just came flying. So yeah, let's reassemble the shoulder. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that tolerance. Okay, these are fine. So yeah, he's missing the shoulder blocks now, which is good. Now I just need to keep track of which one's the left one, which one's the right one. Okay, so it goes, the black's supposed to show up on the front side, so this would go like here. So it goes, this would be on the right, and this would be on his left. Okay, let's just transform this. I'm hoping what I have planned for this actually works, so we'll see. Just need to transform him partially. Do the spinny thing that he did in the movie. I have to admit that was a pretty cool scene, even though I didn't much care for the movie, but whatever. And how he would transform would be like that. There's a black part being outwards. By the way, a good custom tip I've learned in my years of custom, few weeks of customizing is that using tape instead of super glue, use tape first before you super glue, and just to make sure you know what the hell, make sure you're actually happy with like the results. I'm the most worried about the bull bar, but if I know Gunpla runners as well as I think I do, this should be about how much it closes, and you know what, this is not too bad. The silhouette would still be fine. Let's put it here. Oh shit. We'll take a little bit on. Yeah, it doesn't matter how we do it. But yeah, this would be the result. It can't close fully like end pieces one, but I think this is still pretty damn close, don't you think? Like, I mean, come on. It's like bare, you can't tell it's jutting out, so yeah, I think this mod we can consider a success. We can definitely do this and still retain our bull bar. Nippers first, and then cleaning up either sandpaper or whatever. It's fine. Again, what's with these nub marks out of the factory? Quality control, am I right? Okay, that's pretty smooth. Okay, let's try this. I guess if you want to get it, how do we get it out? I guess we... Oh shit, maybe I should have kept the nut bar. A bit easier. Yeah, okay, I think that works. Yeah. If we kept the nub mark, it would be easier to get a handle on whatever. Yeah. Crap. This one has the same one. I'll make sure not to make the same mistake for that one. Oh, make sure you don't glue the hinge to the bottom piece here. Otherwise you won't be able to move it up or down, I suppose. And we just need to fold this back. Like a little cape. Okay, so we got the shoulders right for Rise of the Beast Prime. Yeah. That's the mod done. So the next mod we're going to do is thinning out his head. It's a bit wide. In the movie he has like a really like narrow head, almost like a pinhead. So my plan is to actually... Okay, this ear is kind of... Okay, this ear is fine now. Just pretend the stress mark isn't there. It's sort of straight now. Sort of. I can probably rip that off and glue it back on later, but the point is, we're going to remove this circular disc, this outermost circular disc, and this third ear. We're going to try on the non-fucked side, so yeah, let's begin. Okay, so basically made... He's not really a pinhead, but it's the best we can do with what we're given. Now, to differentiate this from my BB movie custom, we're going to give him his infamous mouth, and this is from an Evasion Mode, a Junker Evasion Mode Prime. This is actually the one that came with the Classics Prime with all the chrome. I originally bought it because I really like the Classics Prime mold, and I really like the chrome on it because it reminded me of the toy version. So I got it, and then Evasion Mode Prime is just sitting there with his ugly ass colors doing nothing. Yeah, I have a custom Evasion Mode Prime as a G1 Prime if you're curious. Maybe I'll show that later in this video if anyone's, I don't know, interested. So I took the liberty of taking his face. Give me your face. Taking his face off. And basically what we're gonna do is we're going to keep all this dumb detail. His fucking horse mouth. We're gonna keep that. We're gonna shave all the rest of this off. His eyes, whatever. Keep his nose because he has a big honking nose. Just like he did in the movie. This is not based on Peter Cullen. I don't know what Stephen Capel is smoking, but yeah, we're gonna do our best and cut, I guess. Oh yeah, that's the asshole we all love. Favors Prime. It's perfect. I guess the only problem is, I don't want to do this, but we're gonna have to cut up his mask to make room for this, for all that. So, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Anyway, after a lot of cutting, here's what we have left. Ugh, that looks so ugly without his face plate. Imagine we're putting this horse visage into that. This is what it's going to kind of look like. They filed it down accordingly and painted it gray. I know it looks a bit light on camera, but I know for sure that it's going to turn a bit darker as time goes on. So yeah, I think it should be fine. I'm gonna glue it and let you know how it goes. So here is what it ends up looking like. Yeah, that's definitely Rise of the Beast Prime, if I've ever seen one. One tip for his head articulation. what do you want to actually do? That's what I did with my BB Prime 2. You see this little hump right here? Yeah, it's actually a better idea if you just take that out entirely. The disadvantage for this being pinned is that it's just going to make cutting a lot more difficult, but I guess we'll manage. Here's the finished head we have. Yeah, actually that turned out much better than I thought it would. Still has this big honking nose, so that's good. Yeah, if you look at the screen, if you look at his visage in the movie, he does have a really big nose. I think even bigger than what he had in the Bayverse. So I think this actually fits quite well. The only problem is that since the chin is so long, that's where his fucking mouth is for some reason. We can't tilt his head down, but because of SS38's engineering, we actually have an extra hinge for the downwards motion, so it's kind of remedied. Yeah. Oh, and I had to snap off his antenna and glue it back on. I seriously could not fix the crooked antenna issue, and honestly it was just driving me crazy, so I just did what was necessary. So yeah, we have a thin head, we have his Bayverse horse mouth, and we fixed the antenna because of the shoddy QC of this knockoff. So I think we're pretty much done with the head. We just of course need to touch it up with some paint, but yeah, not too bad. It's coming together quite well. Alright, so here's probably the hardest part out of all these modifications. Creating the bow bar for Prime. So I got this idea from NPiece. His custom Prime is just amazing, by the way. Just take a look at this. I mean, come on. What is that? Anyway, he had the idea of using gunpla runners for the bow bar, and that's what I'm going to do. So, and that's what I did, really. So what I suggest doing is creating these the vertical struts first, because if you create a horizontal struts first, I think you end up having to do more pieces, because the horizontal struts on the second level is not straight across. It's actually straight between these two struts, and it's elevated a bit on the sides. You're gonna end up having to cut more pieces. So I suggest doing these 4 struts first. And you should definitely use a ruler to measure everything out. Yeah. Make sure that you measure out how wide the grill is and how wide the truck front is as a whole. And how you line it up is, if you see carefully, there are little nubs here. Sculpt the detail, and I suggest using them as a guideline on placing these struts on top. So then now you can measure the horizontal length of the remaining struts. So what we just have to do now is measure how much distance there is between these two struts, which I believe is about, it's a bit hard to read, sorry, I can't, somewhere here. And you measure these struts out here, which comes up to there. Sorry. I'm gonna have to create 6 of these little struts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 of the longer horizontal struts. 1, 2, 3. So I guess I'll be back once I cut all the pieces out. Like that. Yeah. Let's check if it's still full up. You know what? I think we're gonna have to lower this as well, because we need to make room. So consider this a stylized grill, I suppose. It's not too big of an deviation. It's not too much of a deviation from the original design, so I think I'm okay with that compromise. Yeah, I mean that's virtually no difference from the stock configuration. So yeah, I'm gonna start gluing and yeah, but not on the figure itself. We're gonna have to, paint it, of course, but oh, Jesus Christ, we're done with the hardest parts. We're done with his Bayverse face, and we're done with his damn bull bar. Not really when I think about it. We're gonna have to add the lights to the bull bar, and a little nut sticking out from the front, so it's gonna be a little bit more work, but I'm pretty sure that's not gonna be too difficult. I'm not sure whether I want to add the front struts, because this already closes up so nicely. If I add, we're gonna to there. I'm not sure whether I'm willing to take that sacrifice. So yeah, but I guess no sacrifice, no victory. But we'll see. Pardon the noise, but something's going on right now. But this is basically my completed bull bar. So as you can see, what I recommend you doing, if we're gonna do this mod as well, is that you do this piece by piece, as gluing it all onto the front bumper. If you try to glue all the pieces first and then try to attach it to the bumper, it's going to be a nightmare, because as you can see, even with math, measuring it out, some pieces don't actually line up totally. So yeah, but that's because of human error, and sanding and other sort of things. So what I recommend you doing is you glue it piece by piece, or at least chunks by chunks, which is what I did. Also, for the top bull bar, make sure this is an important note. Make sure you have enough room so that when you transform it, it can fold up accordingly. You see the little lights are hitting the front bull bar, and that's enough room for the backpack to close up, like so. So yeah, just make sure that your top piece doesn't interfere with the transformation. You can see there are tiny gaps of where the rest of the bull bar should be, but from a distance, I don't think it's super noticeable, so I'm okay with that. So for the lights, how I did it was, these Gunpla runners have, as you know, numbers on which the instructions will tell you which piece to cut out accordingly. So you just need to cut these little squares out, and you're blank on the other side, and just that's how you get perfect squares. So yeah, I think the hardest part of this custom is done. Now we just need to add the silver pieces and the abdomen detail. Face, bull bar, done.
So before we end this part 1 of modifying SS38 to a movie accurate ROTB Optimus Prime, I actually want to talk about a few things I've done to my Bumblebee movie Prime since the video I uploaded about a week ago. The most notable thing is that I actually panel lined for the first time in my life. I panel lined his face mask to be more movie accurate. One of his most distinctive features are his beautiful panel lines on his mouth guard, faceplate. What am I saying? Yeah, proper terminology. Anyway, yeah, I actually had the balls to carve into the plastic, almost irreversible, unless you know how to use putty, but that's like still a headache. And I carved out the little details that were present on the CGI model, and I'm much happier with how the head turned out as a result. I have to tell you though, I was shitting my pants the whole way through, but I have to say it was worth it. Much better. I also fixed the antennas before they were super out of place by sanding them down to the correct size and shape, and I painted over them with the same blue that the head was cast in, so it's no longer sticking out. Much better. I also fixed some of the more egregious paint errors, such as the thighs. Before they were really streaky with the silver. Now I think it's much better. As I get better with these customs, I hope that I have time in between to maybe make some modifications to this Prime and other past customs, so that it more reflects higher standard, I suppose. But you know what? That's BB Prime is not the point of this video. The point of this video is this gentleman, Mr. Face Stealer. So what I actually did was for the stress mark, I actually painted over that with the same blue that I painted BB Prime with. It actually matches perfectly with this blue plastic. Yeah, so we given him his Bayverse face, gotten rid of his love handles, which is great, and we've given him the famous bull bar. So yeah, and we were able to remove the shoulder blocks that were missing on the ROTB model from the Bumblebee movie CGI model. So yeah, we've actually completed most of the we actually done most of the hard work. So next time we're actually going to do more the things that most people have done with their customs. So we're going to have to create silver pieces for his shoulders and his titty windows. I've actually done, consider this as teaser for part 2, I've actually done the shoulder pieces that are going to go on like this. And we're going to have to create a new kind of chest grill for him, sort of like here. I'll talk about this more in part 2. But yeah, just TLDR, we've done the hard work in this part. We created a bull bar and given him his Bayverse face, and we thinned out his head. So yeah, I can already tell this looks pretty different from Bumblebee Prime. I'm very happy about that. I was worried that it was just going to look the same, but I'm very happy about how I'm very happy that these two look pretty different from each other. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me in this journey. I hope you have the courage to join me in this kind of custom walkthrough. And just overall, thank you so much for the time you've graciously given to me. And again, consider subscribing if you are interested in keeping up with the mods I'm doing for ROTB Optimus Prime. Now, witness the true power of a Prime.